Hello and welcome to a positive future for change. That's a Freudian slip. Positive Future for Health podcast, and I'm your host Althea Finch. I am the creator of the Pain Free Method, how to be pain free by tuning into you. And you can find out more about that at painfreedom.co.uk. But as well as how I teach people how to be pain free, I felt that gulf between what I can teach somebody and what's out there, all the natural therapies out there. So I started this podcast, and I'm delighted to have Jemma, now Jemma with a J, all about moon magic. And I feel like the podcasts have been nudging towards astrology and all about change and rhythms and cycles and what's coming in our over the next few years. So I was really excited to meet Jemma. We met recently at the Sun and Moon Festival. Those of you who want to know what festivals I attend, and come and meet me. They're all on the website under events. And so we got chatting, and she starts talking about moon magic. I thought, yes, please come on. So I'm delighted that she's come onto our podcast. And so, Gemma, how did you get into all of this? Who are you?
Hi, hi, Althea. I mean, I'm many things, like us all. We contain multitudes, but in terms of moons, or moon ceremonies, it's something. Actually, there's this magical shop. My family live in Totnes, so I'll sort of tell a story from the beginning of how this sort of came about. So there's this bookshop called
Stephen.
Articurus in. I love that teacup. I also learnt that T in sign language is this. If you want pictures
Ah,
of tea,
we might.
that's my pride. I love it. I just think it's lovely. Anyway, um, and that's a quintessential teacup. I've got totally distracted. So I went to this bookshop
Sorry.
in Totnes, and my family lived there. It's a very spiritual place. I didn't grow up there, but I did grow up visiting there with my mum, and she always said she wanted to live there, and she manifested it. She ended up there when I was 20. So that's where I go home and visit now. And there's this bookshop, and it's quite magical. And I feel that I don't ever plan to go in there. It just calls me in sometimes. So I went in there in early 2018, and I picked up this book. Actually, I've got it here because I thought I might need to. So it's called Moonology, and it's a very sort of simple. It's by Yasmin Boland, and it's a very simple sort of guide to working with moon cycles in a spiritual sense. And the year before, I had met my neighbour opposite is an now 83-year-old astrologer, so he's a bit younger then, obviously, but he'd sort of got me into astrology. And actually, even when I was a teenager, I was mucking around with tarot cards, but very intuitively. And my astrologer friend always sort of jokingly laments that I have a lot of potential in terms of sort of astrology and spiritual things, but he says, but you just rely on intuition, you never study. So he's like, he wants to make me study, but I'm very resistant to that. I have studied a lot in my life, but because this is joy, I feel like, I just sort of go with it. Oh, great! I've just seen someone in the chat say they have her diary. Yeah. So anyway, he'd got me. John, my neighbour, had got me into astrology, kind of in a more structured sense, and I'd come to understand myself much better through my horoscope, because he does very, very detailed horoscopes, and so it had helped me understand some different aspects within me and make sense of that, and it'd been really valuable. And then in 2018, I went past this bookshop, and I was sort of called to go in, came across that book, came out with it, and it's just got a big moon on the front. I was just drawn to it. I've always been drawn to the moon. And so I just thought, I'm just going to give this a try, because it's a really nice, simple ritual that you can do on the new and the full moon. Now, the moon cycle, you change into each zodiac sign every 2 days with the moon, throughout the month. So there's that influence going on throughout the month. And, I'm not an astrologer myself. I don't pertain to be, so I won't go into like loads of detail on that. But the moon is your interior emotions. So that wherever it is at the time impacts your moon in a very personal way, and your zodiac in a personal way. But what I love about
So
the
sorry. So every 2 days it goes to a different constellation, a different star sign.
yeah, so it's very quick, unlike the moon travels much faster around us than we travel around the sun. So So yeah, so I'm pulling lots of threads in, so I'll try and come back. I'd also I'd gone through a painful breakup at that time, so I think I was searching for meaning, maybe a bit more than usual, and I was really drawn to this. And it's very simple ceremonies that you can do, rituals that you can do on the new and the full moon. And I'd always thought, actually, there must be something to the moon, because farmers plant based on the moon. Even very
Yeah.
practical farmers who are not spiritual still follow moon cycles. The earth literally contracts and expands based on the cycle of the moon. Gravity is impacted by the moon. We are 70% water, and we have cycles. Women in particular have cycles that are impacted by
Yeah.
by the moon. So I've always thought there's something in this.
And
Um,
they say that the police get ready on a full moon.
yes,
They have a lot more crazies on the full moon.
absolutely. Yeah. And a colleague of mine, actually, who used to be an occupational therapist and then she was working in the community with me, she's Christian. And she said, I don't know about all this pagan stuff, but what I know is when she worked um, in a mental health institute for people who were quite seriously ill, they prepared themselves to have many more people sectioned on a full moon. They just, like she said, really sensible doctors just said, it's the full moon, get ready, everyone. So they just accepted it. So it's amazing, really, that like it is seen so obviously. And actually, we're going to talk more about the new moon because that's what's coming up. But in terms of the full moon, the reason that happens more on a sort of spiritual level is because the moon is completely lit up by the sun on the full moon, and so it shines a light on your interior emotions, and it brings up all your emotions, and that's why it's the time to release. Whereas the new moon is about the time to manifest, to grow things.
I love that because it's very practically obvious, isn't it? The
Yeah.
sun shine. What is moon all about? It's all about interior emotions, and the sun shines on it on the full moon. I mean, maybe I'm asking silly things. I don't know, but I like the practical obviousness of it
Totally.
because
I love
it's not something to
obviousness.
intellectually sort of get. It's sort of there. It is. The
Yeah.
sun shining on your emotions.
Yeah, lighting them up, right? And actually on a full moon, it can be incredibly light at night, and so it can disturb your sleep as well on a practical level, not on an emotional level. But yeah, so I love that. And actually the practical thing for me is really important because it's up there in the sky. So it's like a timer, or it's like a visible calendar. You know when the new moon is coming, and I'll sort of Google when exactly is it. But you can, when the full moon is growing, you can see when it's the full moon. And
Yeah,
actually, you can do these ceremonies. They don't have to be very exact. They can be around a few days around.
well, that's
They're still very powerful.
because
So
it's the energy around that time. And also, I picked up a really nifty little trick that I don't know about these things too much myself either, but when you see the moon in the sky and it says DOC, when the moon says D, it's the moon waxing, and then it's the full moon, and then it goes to a C, so then it's waning.
ah,
Doc, doc.
nice. I didn't
That's
even
good,
know that.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, that's cool. But that's the thing. It's like a reminder in the sky. Which I
Yes.
love. I love that. Um, yeah. So really, it helps as well if you're quite a busy person or a bit of a sort of all over the shop person like I can be. Um, you've got it there reminding you. And every 2 weeks, if you're doing a ceremony every 2 weeks, it means that you're doing either a drawing in or a calling in or a release once a month, because every 2 weeks is the new or the full moon. So I find it a very useful practice. And I'll talk about this more later, how, aside from spirituality, it's very useful for your mental health, I think. But
When it's a new moon, are you calling in?
yeah, your intentions are on the new moon. You're growing on the new moon and you are releasing on the full moon. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, from a practical level as well, it's like it's not too often to be a chore. It's often enough for it to be impactful on your life because it's regular.
It's the awareness, isn't it? As you
Mm,
say, you've got the signals. When is it? Do I why I'm trying to do something? What's the going on? It's because it's a new moon. I should be
exactly.
building, not letting go.
Yeah. So you could just do it on that level, that's plenty. But then you can also look at the flavour of what constellation it is in for added kind of tips on how you can think about it impacting your own life. And then if you want
Okay.
to go deeper, you look at where your moon is at that time, which planet your moon is in, or which constellation your moon is in. So you can,
When you're born, your star
well,
sign.
no, the actual transits going on at the time. So you can look at how it's comparing to your chart,
Ah,
and how
okay.
your planets are influenced at that time. So there are sort of multiple, there's almost 4 layers of depth you can go into. I never know that, but my astrologer friend will say to me, right, your moon, because my moon is in Scorpio, will be impacted in this and that way. He said that to me earlier, actually. He's like, these are the ways it will impact you. So I'm very lucky because I've got an on-demand astrologer living opposite me. Um,
Amazing.
so yeah, but well, he gets the certain things from me as well. But it's very much a sort of reciprocal thing. But he now sort of calls me the moon goddess because I've sort of taken the moon thing, quite far, and he's just an all round astrologer really. But that's the thing. Sometimes when I'm really busy, all I do is the basic. I'm kind of generally always do it if I can, but if I've got no time, I'll just do the main things. So we can sort of go into what you actually do later. But for me, just trying to get back from tangents to your original question, I got this book and then I did more reading and more kind of study with my astrologer friend, and just practiced on friends really. Sort of did it more and more. People that, my flatmate really got into it, even though he's not spiritual, but he said, I find this really useful practice,
Yeah.
for thinking about things. So yeah, it's something that I do every 2 weeks, and I use it to keep me thinking about what I'm grateful for, because you do a gratitude list each time, and then you're once a month for the new moon, you're setting your intentions. Once a month for the full moon, you're letting go of things that have upset you, or habits you want to sort of move on from. So it's just a very, yeah, useful tool really to work with.
It's so easy and so easy to keep it really simple or go complex if you want to go complex.
Exactly. Yeah.
And do you do courses? Do you have groups or do you do one-to-one or you just advise people or what?
I've done one-to-one with people, because then you can, and usually I get advice from John on how that impacts their horoscope, and sometimes we do things
Mm,
together. We've act Funnily enough,
cool.
me and John, actually, I'm not on TikTok, but John is at the age of 83, and so we do have, he
Wow.
has a TikTok channel, but we've been very slack with it, but he's explaining each of the tarot, the major arcana tarot cards, and so we do a little bit together, but so the deal is he explains the card and then I'll post it on his TikTok. But
Brilliant.
I think it's called John and Jem. I can give you, but we haven't done it for a long time. So he keeps reminding me that we need to do that.
Well,
But
do let me have the link, then I can put it with this recording.
okay, John will be pleased. But yeah, I do one-to-ones. I've done groups with friends, and then at Sun and Moon last year, I
Mm.
did an opening ceremony. But then with Julia, we did a more kind of detailed ceremony around the fire last year, which was lovely. And it just happened to be that there was, now I forget whether, I think it was a full moon. I remember now, because actually the moon was beautiful at Sun and Moon last year. Because I've got a picture of it. Do you remember that statue in the middle of it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've got a picture of the moon behind that statue, looking
Oh,
incredible.
wow.
So we did a full moon ceremony, and it just happened to fall on. Well, I don't think just happened, but it fell there. So that's why I ended up doing that. A friend just said to me, "You should do this festival," and I got in touch with Eugenia, and then the rest is history. So I have done groups, but mostly for friends. And then I did Sun and Moon Festival. So I am gonna, I'm happy to do it more. And it's nice. What I like about it is that you only need to take part in it once. And I
Mm.
do it for net groups of neighbours actually as well. But you only need to be guided once really, and then it can be your own practice. And I love that, because I love that people can just have it as their own useful practice, basically.
Point people in the right direction.
Mm,
So, how has it impacted your life knowing this? And so it was all starting from that shop and then
mm,
added to by your neighbour with the astrology.
yeah.
Um, and how is it? How can you tell us any examples or moments in your life that it's impacted
Yeah.
having direct sort of knowledge and connection with the moon?
Well, I've seen. multiple times, particularly on the new moons. I've done this with friends, and like
Mm.
maybe I've not watched it. It's harder to watch yourself or to notice things yourself, but I've watched friends say to me, I am manifesting a new job, and then they get a new job that the next month. Like genuinely, it's amazing. And you ask yourself, is it a spiritual thing, or is it that they believe, so they put all that effort, they felt this renewed motivation because they had done something ritualistic to call that into being. It doesn't matter either way, really.
Mm.
It's just that that intention, setting that intention, can change your life, can transform things. I think the letting go is particularly useful. And another thing that I've learned from John that I add is a Hawaiian, you call it cutting the orca cords. So when you're doing letting go, if there's something you're really upset about, you orca cords are cords that link you to anyone you meet in your life, as you know, as a psychic cord, if you like, that comes out of your solar plexus and reaches someone else if you have any interaction. And if you want to release yourself from sort of a negative influence, you can physically imagine that being cut. So on the full moon, you know, if I've needed to, or there's been a like difficult situation at work or something like that, I've cut the orca cords, um, you know, while doing a full moon ceremony. And I think even if you don't, you basically burn your list, right? So actually, there's something very powerful about writing a list of
Mm.
habits you want to let go of. You know, I've had people that want to quit smoking doing it, and then the irony is they're putting it on the fire. But you know, or someone that wants to get over a relationship. I think, you know, the relationship I was getting over in 2018, I definitely wrote that down and whacked that on the fire. So I think it's symbolically very helpful as well. You watch the things you
Mm.
want to let go of burn, but you
Yeah.
also watch your gratitude list burn, because it's about, you don't cling to anything, you just let it be. So you're going to write it down, but then you're going to send it, you know, into the earth again through fire.
And
Um,
and the new moon and the full moon, that you do the gratitude both times.
Yeah, so the gratitude is always important, and I think, like, you know, some people would say you do it every day if you can, but yeah, you write a gratitude list first for both, because that is like your staple, if you like. That's just you grounding yourself and knowing what you already have, and then you either call in more things or you let go of things, but you know, you almost inventory what you've got first and what you're
Yes.
grateful.
I like to think that gratitude is like saying to the universe, snapshot where you are. This stuff, I love
Mm.
this stuff. This is great. I'm really happy about that. I feel like it's almost saying like, I like this. This is the stuff I want more of.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, that is really good. Yeah, I will
And you
use
and you're talking about the orca chords. I did something like that with an
that.
ex, and I felt I just wanted to emotionally unpeel from him,
Mm.
and I imagined this big thick wad of lines of, I don't know, links and emotions or whatever, and I just did it because I wanted to let go of him, and I imagined all the chords cut,
Wow. So you just did
um,
that intuitively?
yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know think about it. I just wanted to unbuckle from him because you
that's
get so
brilliant.
wrapped up in so many emotional links, don't you, when you're with a partner?
Absolutely.
And could that have been the orca chords?
Absolutely. What John would say, absolutely, that you're just intuitively doing that. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
because we do link up so much, isn't it? It's a way of and burning is I think burning is a great way to. It's very cathartic, isn't it? It's sort of
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
done.
I love doing that. I've got a fire pit in my garden, so, you know, when I do it with my neighbours, we gather round, and
Oh,
I love
lovely.
watching the embers, watching the lists burn, and then you just watch the embers dancing until they turn to dust, and there's something very powerful in that, I think.
I think yeah, I think it's earthy, it's tribal, it's
Yeah.
ancient, and
Mm.
it's right in the depths of our soul because it's fires of our survival, isn't it? Of
Yeah.
cooking things and keeping animals away, danger away or something.
And it's kind of
It's
what makes us human, you know? It was one of
yeah.
the first things that helped us sort of grow intellectually, really. The fact that we could, you know, start to digest differently.
Yes. And so what sort of things have people said that they've um achieved or so you do one-to-ones? Can you tell us about somebody you took through this
Well, you know
process,
what? A
ceremony?
really lovely one actually was when one of the earliest ones that I did with a group of friends that are quite spiritual. They all know star signs and their moon and their, rising signs. They're really into it. So it was when it was quite a fairly new practice. I'd maybe been doing it for about 6 months, and they all came round to mine, group of girls, group of coven, came round, and I remember one of my friends sort of, we were doing the letting go list because it was full moon, and I remember one of my friends saying, "Oh my goodness, this list is getting so long. Like this, I'm thinking of things back to when I was a child, and I haven't thought about this for so long.
Mm.
Am I going over the top here?" And I was like, absolutely not. Everything you want to get on there, get on there. And when you,
The paper.
yeah, exactly, seriously, everything. And like when you start thinking about it, things
Yeah.
were tumbling out from when she was like 6 or something at primary school, which I thought was amazing. And there's something about, actually feeling and releasing. They'll say in psychology how important it is to feel in order to process and let go rather than having something stuck in you, that feeling where it's like in there.
Mm.
So I said to her, "No, just keep going." And she's like, "Well, this takes ages." And I was like, "Yeah, but if you do this every month, it will stop taking so long because that it may take you a few goes to release the thing, or you could be writing it on your list for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter. But generally, what I find is if you've been doing it for years, what you're processing is the last month's worth of stuff generally. So when you start, you've got more to chuck on there, but then
Right.
it's going to be less stuff. And ideally, if you're kind of getting a bit enlightened with it, then you'll find that less is needing to go on the letting go list because you're maybe living in a more intentional way, and therefore
Mm.
you're not getting as annoyed about things, or you're going with the flow more, so you're not being a people pleaser anymore, or you're not kind of doing obligatory things that you then resent anymore. You're kind of, so there'll be less. There's always, we're human, there's always going to be things that frustrate you, which can go on that list. But I think, you know people, and I've definitely experienced that there's less to process if you're doing it regularly.
And I think, we all have patterns that perhaps we've had since early in our childhood. And
Mm,
those patterns can feel like they're insurmountable, that they just keep affecting you all the time, round and round. So I
yeah.
think something like this is really great to help to unlock and release you from unhelpful patterns that you can't fix them,
Mm,
you can't make them go away. But this is an action that you can do to release, take off the pressure, so you can be more present,
yeah,
and as you say, live your life and just be in the present moment
absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
rather than get affected.
Mm,
And so there are lots of ways that you mostly use this moon magic, the magic of the moon, in a spiritual sense, and don't you? And for
yeah.
affirmations and to help you and support you in your life, to let go, to create. So on the
Mm,
new moon, that's all about um, starting a new project, writing a letter, requesting,
mm.
um, building.
Yeah, or
Um,
it might be that someone says, I want to find a new relationship, or I want to start dating, I want to look for a new job, I want, it's about newness, or I want to get these good habits, I want to start eating more healthily. How people have that kind of resolution of the new year, in
mm.
January. It's like you get to have one of them every month if you want.
Yeah, wonderful.
Mm.
Because I find a big part of being human is, being a human. I find a big part of being human is that I notice me too, we all think we're the part that does the action, that has to make things happen, the part that achieves, that you've got to make things happen. But
Mm.
actually, the world is here. It evolves. It doesn't work like that. That human, that ego, whatever that part of us
Mm.
is, you can step back, you can allow, you can request, you can let in.
Mm.
It's a different kind of state of being human, isn't it? To
Mm.
just trust the process, ex, 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 expect that what you need comes to you because
Yeah,
you
that's so
requested it.
true. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've
Yeah.
I've experienced that recently, that I've actually gone back to an old workplace with a really lovely boss, but I've been in an interim role. So I've had to, and I found that quite stressful because I don't like being in uncertainty, but it's been a really good lesson because I've actually just let it be. After a few months, I thought, it's fine. I'm just going to trust this because it feels right. And then, it's taken much longer for this process of change and transformation of the organization to happen. But actually a new role came up and new funding came in for a new role that felt right, that I'm applying for. So I'm, that I'm very much on this new moon. That's what I'm focusing on. But it's very much what you say, like I couldn't force it. And actually if I'd been frustrated and not been able to deal with just letting it be, I would have gone somewhere else because I want the certainty. But actually being here feels more right for me. So I just had to let it be and trust the process that I was in. I was very much in a process and living with that uncertainty. And I think that's difficult for humans to live with uncertainty. So yeah, this is another tool for allowing yourself to do that, to not force too much.
Maybe if someone's really pent up or frustrated and angry even that things aren't working out for them or they're still bound by past things, maybe they need to spend more time on the full moon
Yeah,
of letting go. Is that
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that'll be very powerful for someone like my friend that I was talking about who had all these ancient kind of 30-year-old experiences that she realized she needed to let go of that she hadn't remembered for years. So yeah, it's definitely it'll be I think it's important to do both and it's very positive to do both. But I think, yeah, the full moon will be more powerful for someone like that. And it just at different times in your life, definitely. Yeah.
And what about people who have aches and pains and problems and issues? We've all got issues, but some people have got more than others of maybe physical ailments. I mean, I teach how to be pain free in my world
Mm.
with long-term chronic pain and conditions. So if someone is experiencing difficulties in their body, is it's the same, isn't it? You just
Exactly the same. Write it down. So, your list might contain, I need to let go of the habit of self criticism, but also the pain in my knee. I want to let go of the clutter in my house. I want to let go of my anger and resentment from my relationship 10 years ago. I want to let go of, my anger with my father or mother. It can be anything that you want to let go of, can just go on that list. Yeah.
because
And
we're all energy, isn't it? We're all vibrations and energy and expressions of energy, and so is the moon.
mm,
And so, it's like you're sort of riding a wave with the moon then, isn't it? When it's new, it's doing the things that are equal to new moon energy and then
mm.
full new moon energy. And I mean, it moves oceans, for goodness sake. How, of course, it's going to affect us.
Yeah, and like I said, there's scientific evidence that the Earth contracts,
Mm,
in line with the Moon. It gravitationally affects us, so of course it's going to affect us. Full of water,
yeah.
you know.
Sometimes I speak to people about astrology. I'm not an astrologer. I'm a baby astrologer too, and talk to them about astrology or something, and they just knock it all off that it's not scientific, it's ridiculous,
Mm,
how nonsense. But really, I mean, look at the moon, as we just said,
mm,
moves oceans.
mm.
We're talking about letting go. I was watching Steve Harvey, the black comedian, American comedian. Do you know that guy? Have you ever
No,
seen him? It's like dating shows or I don't know. Ask Steve. He has a show called Ask Steve. Very funny.
I'll look it
So
up.
he's a comedian. You'll love him. And so one day he's saying, "Mum, I really want." He's living at home at the time. I really want to have a new car. She says, "Yes, dear, but you've got to clear the old one out because it's all. Where will your new car go?" And he said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, whatever." And the next month, "Mum, I really want a car. I'll get the money together. This is the car I want. That's going to be fantastic. I'm going to get this car." Yes, dear, but well, I'm sure I can't do the American accent, but she says, "Yes, dear." So yes, dear. So, but you need to move that old car first. So on it went like this. I want to, clear it. I want to clear it. And so eventually, he was like, I got to clear the car. So he cleared the old car, got it towed away, sweeping and washing and sweeping it up, making it all beautiful and nice. That week he got the new car.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
kind of the point here is that that's what the new moon, that's what you're talking about, isn't it? So asking for what you want, letting go of what doesn't
Actually,
help
yeah,
you.
that's you know what, I hadn't really thought of that, but yeah, absolutely. You've got to release in order to draw in more. Like they say that sometimes when bad things happen, it's actually clearing the way for new things. Is that exactly that? Or like,
Yeah.
sometimes, fire is used to burn down crop areas so new crops can grow. Obviously I'm not talking about forest fires, but when it's managed, it actually
Yeah.
allows for newness. Yeah.
They do, the farmers. That's what they do, the farmers, isn't it? They burn the land, burn the
When you prune things,
stubble.
when you prune
What?
deadwood, then
Yeah,
new plants grow and new shoots.
exactly. And it really, that's the way that it works, isn't it? And I've got
Mm,
tomatoes out there, and if you cut it, then all the energy goes into the tomatoes or whatever.
mm,
So absolutely, sort of clearing things out to let new in. Because
mm.
um, so I'm going to do this practice.
Yay, good.
I think I need a bit of that. I think we all need a bit of that, isn't it? We tend to accumulate this crazy world that we live. I find that, our human side just there's too much control and order within ourselves. Then we sort of get stuck in the bones and in our emotions and in our thoughts. I think it's a really, really lovely, simple process. And you said you can keep, as you said, you can keep it really simple or go deep dive. Can you tell us a little bit about the deeper dive on the more details about things? How does
Mhm. Well, we can use
Yeah.
this upcoming one as an example, if you like. So the new moon that's coming on the 23rd is in Virgo. So, what I like to do is always look at the flavour of that sign. So
how,
Virgo is,
how
yeah,
do you find? So you look at Google. Where is the moon this month?
yeah, or if you're an astrologer like John, then you'll look at your charts. But you can literally just type into Google New Moon August 2025, and it will tell you, and or whack in astrology as well. Or you follow astrologers on social media that like I do, so it just gets fed to me with the algorithms. But yeah, it's easy to find out, and it usually aligns with, because it's Virgo season coming up, and in September well, now we're in the sign of Virgo, so it often aligns with that as well, but not always. So this Virgo is about order. It's about perfectionism. It's quite pernickety, attention to detail. But it's also about cleansing, and it relates to, John tells me, digestion. So it's about, if you're thinking about in your body digests to pick out the good things from the food. So you can sort of apply that to your life as a metaphor. You're picking out the good things from your life. It's a really good time to have a clear out, whether kind of emotionally, although not in the kind of full moon letting go sense, but in the cleaning up, getting it neat and tidy.
Okay.
So really get great time to get your house clean. But also clean up things about your diet, think about how you want to be more healthy. So yeah, you can also, if you want to go deeper, then you look at where your moon is. So on your zodiac, you can find out based on your time and place of birth. You can find out where your moon was when you were born. So mine was in Scorpio. So then you look at how that relates to Virgo. So yeah, you can deep dive in that way and then see what it would do for you in particular. Or you can just look at the flavour of it and think, the 2 days around that new moon, I'm really going to think about cleansing and getting things tidy and neat. Yeah, I actually wrote some notes down from John. What did he tell me? Really reviewing. Sorry, that's me. I think reviewing things, diet, healthiness, um, but without trying to get too obsessive. So that's the negative side. It can be a bit obsessional. It can be a bit picky. So just trying to keep that in
The
check.
balance.
Balance.
So you can get everybody, you can get your chart at astro.com, ASTRO dot COME, COM, dot com, astro.com. And so I'm looking at my chart. My moon's in Pisces. So how would I
Oh yeah, because
uh,
you've got a lot of Pisces, haven't you? So,
I
I
do.
mean, remember, I'm not an astrologer, but I do know that Pisces is a very emotional sign. It's water. It's about feeling, but the negative side can be you feel too much, or you can feel wounded, or you can be wounded. So I guess that relates.
How does, but what I mean is, so the moon is in Virgo now.
Mm.
So how do I link that to me?
Yeah.
I don't
So
understand.
So I think, and again,
It's
John will be
personal.
better at this, but I would say it's kind of, if you take those things I was talking about, the kind of attention to detail, it might be because your moon is a very emotional, a very feeling based moon, and a moon that can kind of feel a bit wounded, you can look at sort of cleansing that and getting your emotional life a bit cleaned up, without dipping into the kind of letting go stuff that we were talking about, because it's a new moon. So it might be that actually you're thinking about setting intentions to be, to feel things in a less negative way, to maybe, and if you spin that into an intention, it'd be like, right, I'm going to, feel more positive, and not be impacted by others, not overfeel things. If you're a healer, it might be, actually, I need to clean up how I go about not taking on too much from those that I work with, and actually having things in place where I can let go of some of the stuff that I'm holding, maybe that I'm holding too much. So that's just, John will watch this and be like, what are you talking about, Gemma? And he can tell you better, because I don't do necessarily, I wouldn't do a personal thing like that unless I did my research first. But yeah, I know, for me, my moon being in Scorpio, it's again, quite that can be quite pernickety and hold on to things and stuff. So I would think about that, or again, not sort of, yeah, not holding grudges, or which, is the negative side of Scorpio.
Like
Um,
very secretive Scorpio, isn't it?
exactly. So it's like, actually, can I be more open if I'm looking at the positive side? And what can I do? I think from a positive side of that would be like, who do I trust that I can share things with more? It's always, you're trying to think of sort of positive things to call in on a new moon. So you can sort of go deeply like that into it. But I think what I usually do with the group would just be, let's look at the flavour of Virgo, and let's use that as something positive that we need to look at. So Virgo is very good at attention to detail.
So should we do this now then? Should we take everybody? Do you want to take everybody through a sort of
For a
focus?
little mini ceremony. So what we do, so the things you need to get ready before you do a moon ceremony is, you need 2 bits of paper and a pen. I should have told people this before, but this is something you can do. You'd need to do it on the new moon anyway. So the
Ah,
energy you want to
ah,
work with is on the 23rd, when it is the new moon, right? But what you would do in preparation is, you'd write your list of what you're grateful for always. People sometimes stress about this a bit. So, like, don't think, oh, if I don't write something on my gratitude list, it means that I'm not grateful for it and I'm going to be punished. It's not like that at all. Just literally free flow, whatever comes to mind. I'm always grateful for my cat in mine. I love her. She's called Luna. She's my moon cat. She's always going to be on my list. But different friends might be on my list if they've done something particularly good for me that month, or they're just on my mind, or I've had a long conversation with them or something. So anything you're grateful for, material things, friendships, things that have happened, good habits, any of that goes on the gratitude list. And if you're doing it every month, it'll be for the last month usually. If you're like my friend who was, she was thinking of things back to when she was a kid again. So you write your gratitude list, and then you write your list of intentions. Ideally, they're going to be on separate bits of paper, but they can be on different sides of the same paper. But I prefer them to be on separate. So that, yeah, so you'd write down all the things that you want to call in, which we've discussed. And then you go to a fire. Now, preferably, I advise people to do this outside. But in really grotty weather, I have actually done it with my extract fan on in a pan. And it's not as, doesn't feel as magical, I must say, but it gets the job done. So you can do that. And also, it's little bits of paper. They're not going to go wild. But yeah, please, can no one set the house on fire? I'm not taking responsibility for
and don't do it near the alarm.
exactly. I did a moon ceremony with, I just invited whoever wanted to take part. So I had quite a random group take part, and we did actually set my smoke alarm off, which was really funny. And we got it filmed actually. It was because I was waxing lyrical about the moon, and where it, the planet it was, the constellation it was in, and then the very unglamorous
Brought
fire.
you down to earth.
Really did. We were all cracking up actually. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, so you write those two, and then you go to your fire wherever it is, or maybe it's just a candle outside, and then you thank everything on your gratitude list. So you can either look at it or you can just think about it, but you meditate on that and you thank everything for being in your life. And then you put it on the fire and you watch it burn. I always do gratitude first. And then you take your intentions list and you imagine what it would feel like for it all to come true. So, what I usually advise people to do is, I mean, you can put winning the lottery on it if you want, but I advise people to put realistic things that you in your heart believe can happen. I think that's the really important thing. You've got to believe it if you're going to manifest it. So it's all well and good putting win the lottery, but do you really believe you're going to?
Yeah.
Please, if someone wins the lottery after this, then I'll be very pleased. But
Do let us know, everyone. Do let us
yeah,
know.
exactly. I never put it on because I think actually, I'm quite grateful for what I have anyway, and I want to put things that I can achieve, like hopefully this job coming up or whatever. So yeah, then you do that, and it's really as simple as watching the flames burn. Now, some people have said to me before, "Oh, it feels a bit horrible to burn what you're grateful for," but I think of it in the kind of Buddhist sense that it's not good to cling to anything. So you're putting it on the fire and you're letting it just return to earth, and you're letting it be. And I think there's something quite beautiful in that. Yeah.
I love watching the flame. We used to, when I was a kid growing up, Dad made this big barbecue made of bricks and things,
Mm.
and it would be lovely when all the adults had calmed down and the booze had finished.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we'd all sit around just chat. Then we'd all sit around just chatting, watching the embers and
I
just
love
watching
that
the embers
too.
glow.
Yeah.
Oh, it was lovely sort of evening moment.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
very peaceful. I think once you've gone through that
Mm.
emotionally, to just watch, it's a calm way of, watching
Mm.
the embers dance. I always find it really lovely. And like a friend that used to live with me, we'd always like look at how much the papers burned, and we'd be like, "Oh, that was a strong one. Those intentions are, are very strong," or whatever. So,
Love it. It's just so I feel like we're almost childlike talking on this call, and it's fire and it's basics and it's simplicity and it's fun
mm,
and it's elfin like, isn't it? And naughtiness and it's
yes,
lovely. I
it
love
just
it.
does always feel a bit like, a little bit risky in a good way.
Bit of risk. I love it. It's so simple and so effective. It's lovely, and of course, working with Moon's energy. So I'm going to open up to anyone who'd like to ask Gemma a question. Who'd like to ask? If you want to unmute yourself and just chat away. If you have any, you want to talk about your specific experience. Perhaps you've done something similar, or is this new for you? Is this the first time you've heard this kind of stuff? If this is something that you want to explore and get some more guidance from Gemma. Steve, did you want to fire? So just on, I think, all right, I think I need to
See,
enable
I think,
unmute.
yeah, lots of people do this kind of thing. I think it's, yeah.
Everyone can unmute themselves now. So if you want to unmute and then just ask Gemma anything.
Oh, I can see
Any
you now.
questions?
You're still on mute, Steve.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is in a roundabout. This is not new to me, but it's just a reminder, like because everything is a relationship. But I'm interested in between the pause of the new moon and the full moon,
Mm,
and because what was talked about rhythms and cycles, but you've got cycles within cycles. But it's like with transformation, but these are very subtle. So that's why I think to have that awareness and not to overthink it, just let it flow.
mm.
Um, yeah, it's a relationship. That's the key bit. Uh, yeah, because it's. I think this knowledge is coming more forward now. It's always been there. It's just it's we're rediscovering it. So
Mm.
thank you for your what you're doing, trying to bring it out there, make it more available.
It's a very ancient praxis. I
Yeah,
think pagans have been doing this as long as the moon has existed. I'd like to believe. It's definitely, and a lot of people do it. Um, but I think it's really nice to kind of what I like about it. is that I've been able to do it with people that aren't spiritual as well, because, you know, if you're into psychology, you know, having gratitude is proven to impact your mental health in a positive way. So being, you know, and letting go of things is something that's why you go to therapy, right? So I think people that are just look at it from a psychological point of view can appreciate it, or a Buddhist can appreciate it. It's a very Buddhist thing. I think it can align with you in any which way. It just depends the flavour you apply to it, really. So you know, you can be very pagan. You know, I consider myself a bit of a pagan, or you can just, you know, a therapist might use it as a way of, you know, timing when you're going to do your gratitude and your letting go. So
Yeah, there we are. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It's subtle yet powerful, isn't it?
Hmm.
And being attuned to these things. I one of the things I do in my program is to highlight awareness of what's going on around you, nature. Watch the different colors and the different flowers coming and going, you know, and because we are nature, and moon is just all part and parcel of that, isn't it? That's I've got a little munchkin down here.
Oh,
What I do?
oh, hello. What's your cat called? Oh, so cute.
This is one of 5 little babies we've got. So it's number 5.
Oh, I
Little
see.
darling.
I want my Luna to come in now, but I think she's
Oh.
exploring outside. But yeah, what a cutie. Oh.
And they tend to, she's looking at me. I love it how the animals come on to these calls and look at what we're talking about, something so powerful and nature driven. And yeah, I think it's so maybe now this month we can all look at the moon, just see what's going on there, look at the DOC,
Yeah.
and to do your manifestations or your releases.
Yeah.
And perhaps in a month's time we could all reconvene and just send. Do you have you've got TikTok, isn't it? Do you have a
Well,
WhatsApp
John
group or
does.
group?
No, I don't actually. I mean, I wouldn't mind setting one up actually. I've got a WhatsApp group with a couple of friends, but yeah, well, let's have a WhatsApp group. Let's do it to remind
Let's
us
do
to do
it.
it. I'm up
Let's
for that.
manifest it.
Absolutely, yes. I think you just did that up here. So yeah, no, I'm happy to do that. And
Yeah.
just as a reminder, like, okay, the new moon is in Virgo, and because I am normally messaging half my mates saying, don't forget, it's a really important new moon. You know, I think it's actually the transits are really important at the moment for collective change. We were discussing this before we came on the sort of open call, weren't we? That actually lots of people are astrologically talking about it, there being quite a rare combination of transits at the moment. So I think, you know, there is the power to, you know, if people are manifesting that we want things to be better, and lots of people are doing that together, I think it's an important time for change, you know, in how things are governed, and that kind of relates to where Uranus is. And, you know, I won't go into all that detail because it's something John can talk very fluently about, but yeah, it feels like a powerful
No,
time to manifest, you know, to manifest change. Things need to change in our world. And oh, Luna's there. I'll just see if I can grab her.
have the cats. Cats and moons seem to just sort of go together, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she was meowing at the door, so she wants to join in. Here's Luna, named after Moon.
Oh, beautiful. So her name is actually Luna.
Yes, yeah. It was I was with my old flatmate, and we were like, what are we going to call our new cat? And I went, something to do with the moon. And my friend went, Luna. And then it was decided. It was very quick. Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. I love that my cat joined in because she sensed yours did as well.
I know they just come over. They're just here and it's playing with me down. It keeps looking at me, and I think it's very natural. You know, animals are very tuned in to the whole thing, and so yeah, let's set up that. Set up that WhatsApp group and let me know the link, and I'll put it with the recording all
Okay.
together.
Yeah.
Sally, you're unmuted. Did you want to ask Jemma something?
Well, I just wanted to reflect. I mean, I do live in Totnes.
Really?
Yeah.
No way. I'll have to come and say hello when I'm next home.
And I am a retired astrologer.
Yay! Oh my goodness.
Perfect.
There's a lot of astrologers here in Totnes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably one of the most spiritual places in the country, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did we say anything glaring, Sally? Was it all in tune,
I know
or
Sally would have been better answering these questions about.
No, it was really good. It was really good. Yeah, there's a kite formation coming up, which is very harmonious. So yeah, it's good, and a lot of changes. All sorts of planets have gone into different signs recently, and so there's opportunities for change.
Yeah, that kite's really important. I saw an astrologer talking about that. Actually, it's quite a rare thing, isn't it? That's exciting.
Yeah, but I love what you said about the new moon and the full moon, and relating to what sign it's in, and then what is your own birth chart sign. Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think the ceremony, it gives us an opportunity, doesn't it, to focus on the new moon about, what we want new, and then with the full moon, what we want to let go of. So yeah, it's and it is a symbol, isn't it? But there are 2 eclipses coming up next month.
Yeah, they're
and you were saying not to do. You were saying something about not to.
Yeah, I'm just going to let the cat out because she's now demanding to be let out.
do keep talking, Sally, if that's okay. So, when are the eclipses?
They're in September. I've got my ephemerist.
Very good.
Yeah, they're important.
Yeah. So what were you saying about not doing or doing on eclipse?
I've been advised by an astrologer and by John actually to never to call in on an eclipse actually. And you know what? I can't for the life of me at this point, but I'll talk about it in the WhatsApp group with John's help. But there's a reason why it's not great to call in on an eclipse.
You mean like the new moon you wouldn't want to create then?
Yeah, exactly. So that's sort of that is the what's the word, the one exception to the rule, I think.
And what about if there's an eclipse on the full moon? Does that make any?
You can still let go. I think the full moon's always good for letting go. Yeah.
Shining a light.
Yeah, exactly that.
On what we need to let go of. Yeah. No,
And
it's really lovely, and I liked how you explained it all quite in a straightforward and understandable way. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Same, yeah, great talk. Thank you so much, Gemma. Really good.
Wonderful. Did you want to ask a question, Galaxy S8?
Question. I think I guess more reflection, just gratitude, I guess. So I can't turn my camera on for whatever reason. Probably a good reason. But I just think, people like yourself, Gemma, who I've been learning a lot from, and Althea and others. A lot of the time, and you know what I'm going to say, I'm a science guy turned sort of super aware of the world of spirituality and astrology. I think it all comes together. So a lot of this, for me, it makes me think about returning to where we came from, like clear off the fog that we were obliged to live with because of societal so-called norms, which are actually quite new things for the whole human experience. And I just thank you for clearing the dirt off of us, even if just for a while, even if it takes many moon ceremonies to arrive at a clearer position. I think what you ladies do is really, really important to remind people, if we all do it once in a while, that in reality we're just trying to understand who we actually are. There's just a lot of fog in what it means to be a human being, I think, and these sort of things really help us to get to a clearer position. Is gravity, electromagnetism, light, sun, water. I'm thinking it all comes together, and yeah, just very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And the whole point I started this podcast and invite these amazing guests like Gemma on is to share our knowledge, bring in guest experts, and to share the knowledge and spread the word and teach us all, because we all learn from each other, don't we? And so thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate that. And okay, so do we have any more questions? Got a couple more minutes left. Perhaps talking about what the moon is going to mean for you. Where do you know where your moon, where your
Oh, you're muted, Althea.
Whoops. Do you know where the moon is in your chart, everyone?
I
Do you know where it is?
I think everyone does. I would guess.
Yeah, I'm quite new to astrology. I mean, I've been loosely dabbling in it all my life, but not going in at all. But
And palmistry,
recently,
right? I remember you saying in your workshop.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and then I knew that it's really important to know about the planets and stars and the moon and everything. I just had an innate sense that it's something really, really important for each of us to know, to understand. I mean, it goes back thousands of years, isn't it? Aristotle and goodness knows what. It goes way back. I mean, it's the way the universe is formed. Why would you not?
We're made of stars, it's in our bones, isn't it? It's in our bodies. We're
It's
made
in
of
our
stars.
bones.
Mm.
Yeah, and I went through a long stage listening to Santos Bonacci. Have you heard of that guy?
No.
He's a synchronist, all about how the sun, the synchronism with the sun, and everything we do and everything we live is by the sun. Because without the sun, we're not here.
Yeah.
And he talks about how we are all made of stars, sisters and
Mm.
ministers, and what's all the other stars? I'm not so good with words.
That's so
Huh?
strange. I hadn't thought about that. Or minerals as well.
Mineral pop star, and that we have stars in our names all over the place.
Mm.
And so we're made of this stuff. It's of course a natural step to engage and tune in and listen to what's going on there out in the night sky.
Mm.
And what a simple, beautiful thing to do it with the moon. So, Gemma, I'd love you to leave us with. Do we have any more questions? Do pipe up because we've got a couple of minutes left. Thank you so much, Rose. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
I love your little motifs. They're brilliant. Excellent. So everyone's got their paper. You're going to do it on the
23rd
23rd
Saturday. Yeah.
on Saturday.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, it's good. It's a
I'm
week.
on it. And you're going to set up a WhatsApp, and I'll share it with the recording, which will be on my but we'll be on my website tomorrow. And if you go to my website, painfreedom.co.uk, and you go along to podcasts, you see it says there's a drop down, and one of those is podcasts, and you'll see Gemma's face there and Moon Magic, and just click on that, and you'll find which will be the WhatsApp group there. And tell us what happened, please. Tell us. I can't wait. I want to know.
I'm actually going to a retreat this weekend, a spiritual retreat. So I feel like it's going to be very special and very cleansing. And it's all about cleansing. Don't forget that energy of clearing things up and cleansing your body and your space. So I think that'll be a really positive thing to do this weekend. I mean, I'm not telling you to clean all weekend, but something like
Well, good for doing a lot of eBaying, isn't it? Get rid of stuff, put things away.
that. Yes.
That's the practical world we live in, isn't it? And my place, well, the darling kittens are going this week, next week. So that's a
Oh,
good, I know, I don't know, I want to think about it, but
yeah.
that's a good time to let go of anything then, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and so Gemma, thank you so much. And do we have any more questions before I sign off?
Thank you for having me, Althea.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And so Jemma Bicknell, where do we find you? Where do people get in contact with you?
It's easiest on Instagram. So it's I think it's at Jem Bicknell or at Jem _ I think it's just at Jem Bicknell. I'll send it to you to put on. But yeah,
And I think,
that's my
listen,
open one, and I do talk about astrology on there a bit as well. Yeah.
lovely. And will you put the TikTok one you do with
Yes,
John?
John will be very happy. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
fantastic. Because it sounds, I think it'd be brilliant if you could do this like every week or every month or every something. I think
Mm.
it's so lovely for people to tune in and what's the thing this week? What am I supposed to look at this week thing? You
Yeah.
know, it's
Probably
so
we could do a
useful.
double act to do it. Actually, maybe I'll say, right, we need to start doing this on the TikTok. Yeah,
That'd
it's
be
so
so
funny
cool.
that an 83-year-old is on TikTok and I'm not. It's
I
brilliant.
know. It is, isn't it? And,
Yeah.
so that would be really amazing. Just send me all the links and I'll put it all with the recording, which will be on my website tomorrow. So don't look for it tonight, guys. Look for it tomorrow. And it'll all be there. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. This is a live and interactive podcast, which is, as far as I can tell, it's quite unusual. So, but I love the organic kind of nature, and I love you all asking your questions because that's what makes the podcast, isn't it? Of course, our lovely guests, but it's everybody listening in and asking questions is so important. It really makes it. So thank you so much, Gemma, for sharing your moon magic with us and pointing us in the direction of letting go and manifesting. And we tomorrow we have the an astrology class tomorrow, free astrology class tomorrow at 7 o'clock, and it's all on the website under events. So just go to the website painfreedom.co.uk, and one of the drop down menus it says events. Just under podcasts actually, and you'll see the link to join the free astrology class tomorrow. So that would be a really great
Very
next
well
step.
timed.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
yeah.
you go. You can find out where your
No,
moon is if you don't know.
I know. Well, I'll have to ask our astrologist tomorrow. So do join us for that. And Monday, I send out the email about what's coming up next week. But you can always look at the website, my website, and go straight there and book on the next talks. So thank you so much, Gemma. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
It's been I'm really cheery. I feel really cheery about this one, and it's childlike. I feel something. You know, it's just so sweet and beautiful and powerful. So Gemma, I always like to leave my guests with the last word. Would you like to point us in the direction or a last word for the evening or a thought to think about?
Evening, I think just make it yours, make it your own ceremony, and think about cleansing this weekend.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Bye for now.